Hey, this is Pat, and today we are checking out the all-new Dainese Axial 2 boots. Now, the Axial line, for those of you that are unfamiliar, are straight off of the MotoGP grid. This is going to be what every top-of-the-line racer from Dainese-sponsored teams is wearing out on the grid. Now, this is going to be, again, everything that Dainese can throw at a boot to make it sport-oriented and protective. They have done so with the Axial line, and they've been doing that for the past 3 or 4 generations, making it a fully encapsulated protective boot while also giving it as much streamlined aerodynamic design as they possibly can. But before I get too long-winded, let's hit some of the features. Now, these do come in at $680, which is a staggering price until you realize the features that you're getting from those pro racers trickling down, and that's only $30 up from the last model in the Axials, the Axial D1s. Now, the 2s also come in sizes ranging from 39 up to 47 and still have a very narrow fit, which is pretty par the course for Dainese. And I will say, I'm a 10.5 US size, and I had to bump up to the 45 or the 11.5 in these boots just to get them to fit on my foot. I don't have that overly wide of a foot, slightly wider than your average US fitment, but I will say if you are looking at their sizing chart, go ahead and bump up 1 full size and you should be all set. Again, $680 up $30 from the last one. Comes in 3 different colorways depending on which style you go with. I have the vented version in front of me, and I have the non-vented over in the black and fluoro yellow on my left, as well as a few other styles out there. But one of the biggest, when you look at these boots, one of the most noticeable things is at the top you have all the Velcro, because this is designed to go inside of the pant of a Dainese suit. That's something that Rossi pioneered years and years ago, and Dainese has been doing in most of their top-of-the-line boots, especially in the Axials. So these are designed to go inside of your boot or your suit from Dainese. You can fit these in an Alpine Stars pair of pants. What I would say is the Velcro that attaches to the Daineses, they does get a little aggressive on the mesh liners inside of the pants, but Alpine Stars and other brands add enough stretch to make it be able to go over just because of the designs coming out from Dainese. So keep that in mind. You can use it for others, but you wouldn't be able to put these over top of a pant leg. There's just not enough space, as you can see at the top of this. But let's talk about some of the new updates for the all-new 2024 Axial 2s. So one thing I want to point out up at the top, they made this reinforced elastic a little bit more comfortable just in case it does come in contact with skin, but I think it just gives it a nice, finer detail at the top. You still have bellows running down the front and the rear of the boot, as well as a TPR slider at the toe, nylon reinforced toe box, as well as a magnesium toe slider in the front. That does not change. At the back, you still have the magnesium slider in the heel counter, which is a nice reinforced piece of TPU just to keep the boot overly rigid. But at the side are the 2 new features I wanted to call out. You have 2 new magnesium sliders at the outside, and this is going to help with the longevity of the boots. Should you go down, should you be scraping your feet on the grounds, adding this extra puck system instead of just having the pivot system there like we saw in the previous version, adding this whole magnesium puck is going to add to the longevity. It's going to give it a reinforced area that can take a brunt, can be replaced, so you can add it down the line. You can replace it every year, every race season, whatever you're doing. You can go and swap that out as well as the lower one, just to keep the longevity of the boots going. Nice perf at the outer microfiber on the outside of the boots. I like that. That's on the vented version, not on the regular version. But one of the main features that comes from protection is inside the boot. So you still have the rear zipper as the access point, and then you still have the carbon and aramid reinforced ankle bracing system. So you can see if I pull that down, the full carbon system running up there. So that's going to be the entire bracing for the ankle to help keep it sturdy, to make sure it's not going to tweak should it hit the ground, should you crash, anything like that. It's going to keep the ankle nice and encapsulated underneath a pretty streamlined system. You still have a speed lay system with the Velcro at the front, so you can go ahead and tighten them down. And again, meant to go underneath of your race pants. So nothing has really changed there, but I do love that they added this slider on the outside just to, again, increase longevity for $680. The investment is so high that I like seeing that this is something that you can take over multiple race seasons and use for 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 years and keep it going, just because you can replace the parts on there. And that's going to be for the toe slider, for the outer ankle, for the lower, as well as the heel counter, is all going to be replaceable parts, and I love seeing that. At the inside, not too much has changed. They have the suede on the interior just for more grip and longevity there. Again, you want the interior of your boot, since you're gripping the bike, you want that to be as streamlined as possible so nothing catches, nothing gets hindered up on the bike or grabs. So I like that that is as streamlined as possible, and I like that they've even reinforced it with a little bit of TPR. Looking at the base of the boots, this is going to be another area that got a light update. It's an entirely new sole and new grip pattern because they're using Groundtrax. Dainese has been using that in a few different boots out there since they partnered up with TCX a few years ago. So I like seeing that coming over. That's going to give you a nice reinforced shank down the center of the boot with a pretty grippy grip pattern at the sole as well. So it's going to be about a 5 out of 10 on the stiffness scale. Again, enough to move around on the bike so you can huck it side to side and get that lean angle out at the track, but it's going to be nice and reinforced again at the shank, at the ankle, to make sure that your foot and ankles fully encapsulated should you go down. But all in, for a $30 price increase from the Axial D1s to the Axial 2s, I love that they're giving you a few updates, especially those sliders on the outside. I think that alone is worth the $30, especially for the premium style that we're seeing. We've seen this technology on some of the race bikes and the racers out there for Dainese for the past year or so. So I love that we're finally getting those updates available for the US market. And I think adding the Groundtrax sole is just an added bonus on top of that, giving you a little bit more reinforcement with an extra grip panel in there. But if you have any other questions on these Axial 2s, go ahead and click that info button. That's going to take you over to the product page where you can read other rider reviews and see what other riders are saying about these boots. If you still have questions after that, or if you have questions on sizing, feel free to reach out to our customer service team. They are all riders, happy to help you get set up for your next ride. I want to thank you for joining me and checking out the all-new Dainese Axial 2 boots. I'm Pat, and I'll see you in the next video.